Hello, everyone, and welcome to another question and answer, this time for the short In Solidarity, the Migration Blanket by Salma Sulfika. And it's a great pleasure to have her and two of the women who are part of this project with me. So Salma, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Miltos. It's a great pleasure and honour to be with you today. As you said, my name is Salma. I'm a filmmaker, an artist, and a human rights activist. And today we have with us also two wonderful young ladies, young artists from Zatari camp in Jordan. They're Syrian refugees who took part in the film, and they contributed to the film and helped with the process of bringing the artwork together.
So my first question is that has been an ongoing project, and the manifestation that we're going to be seeing at the Berlin Independent Film Festival is this filmed version of something that started as a way of giving hope during the COVID crisis to women all around the world. Would you like to talk about how the project started and where it's got to now?
Yeah, sure. Well, the Migration Blanket project actually started a couple of years ago with a blanket that we created with one of my first projects in Birmingham in the UK with women there from refugee and migrant backgrounds, which we exhibited at the Venice Biennale last year. Sorry, I say last year, the year before, 2019. But what we did last year was I decided through my workshops, Art Connects, where we create artwork and films with vulnerable girls and women, migrants and refugees, to give them a voice and to showcase their talent, was to bring all of the artwork together and into the blanket somehow and create this film that we've put together. So last year, when COVID started, when the outbreak started, I was actually doing my workshops in person, and I couldn't do that anymore. So I decided to take everything online. And it was a bit of a gamble because we didn't know how it was going to work out. And then started to, have a following of young women and girls who come to the workshop. So trying to get them engaged. They were coming in online and joining in with our sessions to create artwork. And then we expanded it. We started in the UK, and then obviously the internet allowed us to take it wider. So we had girls participating last year from Niger, Kenya, Yemen, Jordan, as you see, in Europe, Greece, a lot of refugees in Europe. So Greece, Turkey, Pakistan, India, and we had representation from Bangladesh and Iran as well. So we managed to, reach out to different countries and get people to contribute, and it was really difficult. I mean, technical challenges, obviously mental health issues.
Yeah.
And trying to get people, to engage in a lockdown as well as we're all seeing now. It's not the easiest thing, but I'll let you, hear from the ladies as to why they took part and the impact that it had on them. When I did the film, I wanted it to have an impact, not only for the final product, but for the people who were taking part as well. So the project, the aim was to improve mental health, and which we did for a lot of young ladies, and educate them on human rights, their rights. It's surprising how many young people, how many girls and women don't know what their rights are. So as part of the workshops and the creation of the artwork, we also, did this. And then the film is actually, as you see, it's a journey around the world through the eyes of these young women and my artwork as well. And it brings it all together on a global map, and shows you what's happening in their lives, basically. And as you can see, there's a lot of suffering in silence. you know, my project is all about promoting peace and tolerance and understanding. So this is what we're hoping it will achieve. And towards the end, of course, there is a section on the English Channel. So that's very reflective, being British, on what's happening with the whole migration situation there, because it's really important. I want this film to influence policymakers as well.
Yeah. And Malak and Tasneem, hello, greetings. Thank you so much for being with us. I wanted to ask on a very personal level and a kind of simple level, how Salma got in touch with you and how you ended up participating in this project.
Oh, well, I thought. Good afternoon.
Hello.
It's a great pleasure to be with you. When I first time heard about the project of Salma, it was as an artwork, as I am fond of art since I was a kid. So I find it a great opportunity to share this with refugees from all over the world. And when I got to the camp and when I came a refugee here in Jordan, as I'm originally from Syria, I think that I understand that art is a way to express myself and is a way to use um, to express how to fight for my things that I want to fight for as a refugee. And with meetings with the refugee, I understand that refugee have common problems, and it's really like meeting old friends. As Salma collect us with people from South Africa, from Bosnia, that people I've not met from countries I've never met people from. So it was a great opportunity, actually.
And it goes without saying that the beauty of it being artwork is that, of course, it's universal, and a language of images, which I thought was so
Yeah.
wonderful about the images. Of course, for the very first time, maybe we have all experienced something in a very similar way. The images of the world wearing a mask, images of people trapped at home. I think these things universally all around the world, it's a very powerful image to see something where the whole world, not just a nation, but we're all sharing it and experiencing similar things. And I think that's what was so powerful about the film. Was there, how much dialogue backwards and forwards is there when it comes to working on something like this? It is for all of you. Do you have regular correspondence with each other, or is this something that you have offered individually and then seen the results?
Well, if I can start to explain, we actually had specific workshops set up.
Okay.
We had all of these people from different countries coming onto a Zoom call, basically, and you know, from Jordan, from Yemen, from Niger, which was really technically challenging. And then we had the discussions, and we had a whole workshop, you know, to discuss what we were doing, and they created the artwork in these workshops and finished it off afterwards. So, ladies, do you want to add anything to that about the workshops?
No, it actually was arranged with Selma, and with every time she would ask us to meet with these people, and we got these new ideas and pictures.
So it is very collaborative. It's very collaborative. I think that's what's so wonderful about it. I think it shows in the finished work. What do you hope will be the effect of this project and this phase of the project? I keep saying phase because I'm intrigued that it feels like there's going to be another phase after this, which I'm going to ask you later. But what do you think right now would be the greatest achievement for you that this film will communicate to the rest of the world?
Maybe Malak can answer this question because we haven't heard from her, and then I can say something.
Sorry, I lost my chance to speak the first question, and I want to answer the two.
Please, please.
Is that possible?
Of course, absolutely.
First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm so happy. Okay, with the refugees lives in the camp, you know, Corona was a major cause of more bad condition for me and make me feeling sad and depressing, and I wanted something push me again and release this feeling. So that's why I joined with Salma. In addition to was my first opportunity to meet refugees from different countries suffering from the same problem, to a project work describe the suffering, the goals, the needs, the dreams, the hope of all refugees. And Selma teach us and about the women rights. You know, girls are the ones who suffer in the most in the COVID-19. In addition to um, um, we show this work in creative way. We didn't depend in direct way. No, we use a simple picture to describe uh, a simple picture to attractive people attentions.
Yes.
To feel the pictures and interact with us and feel the suffering and feel what we are feel.
And that is what is so powerful about it. And because it really does communicate that very powerfully.
I remember one of Malak's pictures, it was her hands tied together. You know, she did,
Yeah.
That's how you felt, right? In COVID, in your...
And yeah, and this native helped me.
Was it difficult to find materials to make the art? I mean, obviously you're limited with what you can use, but I imagine that sometimes it's kind of hard to even find materials to make this artwork.
Yeah, I think it was the hard. Malak, do you want me to translate?
حابة أحكي إنه يعني بما إنه الوضع كان صعب، ففينا نستخدم الموجود. استخدمنا يعني أدوات بسيطة، حتى لو إشي بسيط، بس المهم إنه وصلنا الفكرة. يعني المواد مش كتير مهمة، المهم الفكرة اللي وصلت.
She's saying that she used the existing materials, even they were simple materials, but the important thing that the idea has reached to people. And for me, I can say that we here as artists in the camp, we took this as our work and our job, let's say, to draw and paint and to do artworks. We as a family, me and my family and Malak as well. So I think it was with the existing things, as Malak said.
Yeah, I think that's what's so wonderful about it, is that you feel there are some images that are, you can see it appears anyway that they're drawn in chalk against black. You know, sometimes they're incredibly simple, but they're so expressive. Yeah. And of course, you know, using what you have is even more of an expression of your situation and the situation of people around the world. So all of these things feel like they're added detail and give great texture to the work itself. Salma, so do you feel like this project has further to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, given that we are still in this situation, you know, I'm looking at, you know, well, first of all, getting the film out and shown as much as possible, but it will be an ongoing project. And you know, you asked about what you hope this will achieve. You know, the girls have some of their own hopes and dreams about the film, but you know, I hope that it really creates the compassion that we need right now, because racism is increasing, hate crimes are increasing, and that was a situation, you know, a few years ago, especially from where I come from in the West Midlands, but the COVID is amplifying that basically in many different ways. So, you know, the inequalities, it's exposing inequalities. So I think it's really a time where the project and my work is going to grow, basically. We're hoping to take the film also to the Venice Biennale as well next year, and we will continue. So yeah.
I think it's really exciting. I think it's really exciting because, of course, that thing of, you know, in the world that we're living in right now, or at least even before COVID struck the world, was feeling very detached. People would our relationships were disintegrating. People forming into kind of tribes, and the rise of racism and nationalism around the world, all of that kind of thing, means that I was hoping that COVID, the unity that COVID has brought us, could give us something to remind us that there's no difference between us, apart, of course, how we have been impacted by it. And as you said, you know, how women have been so hugely impacted by this pandemic, let alone the plight of refugees and migrants all over the world. But it feels that the film is really pertinent because of that. You know, it has a real message to tell us, and I really like the fact that it's a message of hope and positivity. Makes us realize that we see the world with the same eyes, and we need more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. You know, I mean, we would think that there would be more unity and compassion, but you know, with the situation, the way people losing jobs, etc., the financial situation is going to bring a lot of hardship as well. But you know, the only thing that's going to keep us all going through this is that compassion and that unity. That's the only thing that underlines everything, really, for me. And ladies, I don't know if you want to say something about this, about unity and compassion during this crisis.
Yeah, you know, about this in coronavirus, most people forget about refugees and what are they facing in these days. And I hope this work reach the largest number of people who can help them. For example, the people who live in North Syria or Lebanon, um, the heavy rain damage their camps, and there's children died from cold. We are in 2021. We are in 2021, and there's people die from cold.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very
Can't put it any clearer than that.
No, yeah.
And Tasneem, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, where How has it been in the camp during this whole period? Have you felt?
I'd like to, yeah, go on,
Sorry.
sir.
No, I want you to answer.
Yes, I think that every crisis, this crisis was heavy for everyone in the world. So as refugees, everything is double or treble sometimes for them. So this crisis was really heavy on the camp as a lockdown. But we don't forget that Zaatari camp is one of the most, or is one of the best camps in the world. So there are some other camps that are people there are really suffering. Opportunities here, like work, jobs, and like life needs reduced to the minimum. So I hope for this film, it's all connect with this film that it represents the message. If more people watch this film, then more opportunities will come to refugees, not only here, but in the whole world. So that's why I hope for this film to reach, to know that we still suffer, and this suffering will not end until there will be no wars and no refugees in the camp.
And also to remind us how many refugees and how many camps there are around the world. That's also a timely reminder, because it's something that I think that I certainly take for granted, how many camps there are around the world. So I'm really glad that I got a chance to see this and to speak to you as well. I wanted to ask Salma about where did your activism and where did those seeds start? I guess I'm asking a more personal question, but where did the inspiration to do what you do, where did it come from?
Well, I've been working actually in the humanitarian field for a long time, and I've, visited a lot of countries around the world through my humanitarian work, and that really inspired me. I've been to places like Afghanistan, for example, been to Yemen as well, where it's two extreme countries.
Yeah.
The suffering you see there, really, when you're back at home watching EastEnders or whatever on TV, it puts things into perspective in a way. So that's really what sort of inspired me. It's my, I guess, my nature to be a humanitarian. And these young women deserve opportunities, and I come from a migrant background as well. My parents were migrants. I know what it's like, and I know what that process is like of integration and social cohesion and all of that. So I think art's a powerful way, film is a powerful way to bring people together, and the results we've been seeing have been really encouraging, really great to see people, trying to understand each other. I mean, there were some people who've been to my workshops who said they'd never met anyone of a different culture. So,
wow.
Yeah, and that's in the 20th century. So, yeah, I mean, this is going on. Often we sweep it under the carpet, and it's what I'm trying to tackle, basically, to stop it from going under the carpet and staying under the carpet.
Yeah, we talk about refugees and migrants and immigration like it's some kind of like we take humanity out of it, and we always have to remember that every single person is an individual with their own story and their own history, and I think it was too many times, a lot, especially in the UK, and I'm sure the same in America, we just like to generalize because it's easier to deal with and to actually face the humanity of the situation, because that is really why it's really important to keep talking about it and keep fighting for it and keep fighting, because you know I come from, my parents were, you know, Greek Cypriots who came over here, and so, you know, I see what it's like. It's like our country is fantastic because of our diversity, and so it's always, I always find it so difficult to comprehend. But it's a dialogue that we don't have enough. We just don't have enough.
Yeah. And, you know, in terms of talking about humanity, this is a time, you know, for humanity during COVID. And everyone, I want to make the point that everyone has the right to seek asylum. It's a human right. So we shouldn't forget that. You know, we want to show the film to as many people as possible, politicians as well. So to help sort of reinforce the message that we're dealing with people's rights and humanity.
And before we end, can I just ask you, how many women did you work with throughout this project? How many? Feels like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the last year we had over 30 women taking part. And then in the first phase, another 20 women, 25. So yeah, so basically that's, you know, over 50 women basically contributing. But as you said, we hope to expand as well in the future. We had over, you know, 20 nations represented in 4 continents. And also, you know, people speak different languages, as you can see, so we had to accommodate for all of that. And as you said, Miltos, you know, art crosses boundaries, so it really helped to for them to communicate, for all of us actually, be able to communicate, and for me to be able to understand in the workshops what they wanted and what they were talking about. As well, and put that into the narrative of the film in order to make their voices represented in the film.
Well, it's an amazing achievement, and you all should be incredibly proud of it. And I really hope it has all the success and the attention that it deserves. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for talking to me about this amazing achievement, and I really wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you for having us. It's an honor for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Malak. Thank you, Tasneem.
Thank you so much.
I would like to thank you for your support and your help. You are an influencer for many, and I hope for others to be as supportive as you.
I'm sure, and we'll make sure that there are. We'll make sure of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Work with you. Thank you.
Take care. Stay safe.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.